The city shimmered beneath the night sky, neon lights pulsing over restless streets. Inside a towering hotel, the company's annual gala unfolded in a whirl of sound and spectacle. Crystal chandeliers scattered light across the ballroom while laughter rang through the air, mingling with the clink of glasses and the soft rhythm of a jazz band tucked into the corner. Guests in suits and glittering gowns drifted between conversations, each one hoping to be noticed by the woman at the center of it all, Vanessa King. Vanessa wasn't just a boss, she was the boss. Young, striking, and commanding, she was the CEO who had built her empire through discipline and razor-sharp intelligence. Tonight, she glowed in a crimson gown that drew every gaze as if the room revolved around her. People whispered her name, part reverence, part fear. She had never allowed anyone close enough to glimpse the cracks beneath her perfection. And then, on the fringes of the celebration, stood Ethan Williams. His clothes were modest, a plain blazer, polished but worn shoes. His expression carried the weight of years, kind yet weary. At 32, responsibility had shaped every movement. He lingered at the edge with nothing stronger than a glass of water in hand. This wasn't a night he chose, it was a duty. His mind was elsewhere, with his daughter Lily, waiting at home under the neighbor's care. Ethan knew better than to be swept up by nights like this. Once he had been reckless and carefree, until tragedy had shattered him. His wife, Emily, had been killed in a drunk driving crash when Lily was only a baby. That moment had burned away his youth, leaving only his promise to raise his daughter in safety. Since then, alcohol wasn't temptation, it was a scar that never faded. As the evening stretched on, Ethan noticed Vanessa's champagne glass was never empty. Her laughter grew louder, her movements less steady, her sharp gaze softening into something fragile. The aura of control she always wore was slipping, revealing the exhaustion beneath. Her assistants had vanished, her driver nowhere in sight. Around her, employees avoided eye contact, eager to escape before she could lean on them. Ethan didn't walk away. Something inside told him leaving her alone would be wrong. When the gala ended, Vanessa staggered toward the grand doors, heels striking unevenly against marble. She caught herself on the frame, barely keeping her balance. Ethan stepped forward, his voice quiet but steady. "Ma'am, do you need a ride?" She turned, eyes glassy, trying to focus. "Williams, the single father, right?" Her words slurred. "Yes," Ethan answered simply. "Let me take you home." "It's late. It's not safe." Even drunk, her pride flared. "I don't need help. I have drivers, cars, everything." "Not tonight you don't," Ethan replied, calm but firm. He extended his hand. "Trust me." For a long moment she studied him, as though measuring the risk. Then, with a reluctant sigh, she allowed him to guide her outside. At the sight of his modest car, she scoffed. "This is what you drive." Ethan offered a faint smile. "It gets me where I need to go." He helped her into the passenger seat, fastening the seat belt while she muttered protests under her breath. As the car rolled into the night, the city lights reflected in her tired eyes. She leaned against the window, her voice breaking between sighs. "You know what it's like, Williams. Everyone thinks success is glamorous. They think power makes you untouchable. But it's lonely. No one sees me, they only see the title. The CEO, not the woman." Ethan kept his eyes on the road. Everyone fights battles. Some just hide them better than others. She blinked at him, startled by the answer. "And what's yours?" His grip tightened on the wheel. "I lost my wife. Drunk driver. Since then, my battle has been raising my daughter, so she never feels abandoned." Her expression softened, the fog of alcohol lifting just enough for her to see him differently. Not as a subordinate, but as a man scarred by grief who refused to be broken by it. The rest of the drive passed in silence, broken only by the hum of the engine and the faint murmur of the city. At her penthouse, Ethan parked, walked her inside, and guided her to the couch. The wealth of her surroundings didn't faze him. He poured a glass of water and placed it within reach. "You'll feel better after this," he said gently. She blinked up at him, pride stripped bare. "Why are you helping me? You could have walked away. You could laugh about this tomorrow with the others." "Because I know how it feels when no one's there," Ethan replied softly. "Good night, ma'am." And with that he left, asking for nothing. The next morning, sunlight streamed through her vast windows. Her head ached, but the memories returned, the drinks, the stumble, and then Ethan's steady presence. He hadn't judged her. He hadn't taken advantage. Instead, he had shielded her dignity when she was at her weakest. At the office that afternoon, Vanessa summoned him. Ethan entered nervously, unsure if he was about to face her wrath. But she didn't bark orders. She regarded him with uncharacteristic gentleness. "Williams, thank you for last night." He shifted awkwardly. "Just did what was right." "No," she insisted. "You did more. You reminded me of something I'd forgotten. That kindness is rarer than power. You didn't exploit me. You didn't gossip. You respected me even when I couldn't respect myself." For the first time, Ethan glimpsed the humanity behind her armor, and his respect for her only deepened. From that day forward, Vanessa's demeanor toward him changed. She asked about Lily. She listened when he spoke in meetings. Slowly, others noticed their formidable CEO was different. Not weaker, but more human. Ethan, too, carried a new understanding. That even those who seemed to have everything might fight loneliness heavier than his own. Months later, one evening after work, they left the office side by side. The air was crisp, the sky painted with the glow of sunset. Vanessa hesitated, then slipped her hand into his. Ethan looked at her in surprise but didn't pull away. As they walked together, something unspoken passed between them. A connection not born of power or ambition, but of trust, respect, and quiet compassion.